Shalom Akim, Yahbashim Yahushua, Bashim Kwakadash, the wonders and salutations to the elders and apostles of Great Mystery Rule well. Yeah, so this whole idea of stimulus, man. Oh man, stimulus. Trying to get people excited. Yeah, but at the end of the day, it's just putting a band-aid on a deep cut. That's just bleeding. So Esau knows that his time is running out. So he has to do all types of things. He has to create black swan events to move his agenda forward under the cover of certain events. And that's how, this coronavirus situation is panning out. So it's just an excuse for Esau, to push his agenda for the New World Order. And that's what it boils down to. Just like Elder Gabar was teaching, Esau's just concerned about getting his birthright back. So he has to make certain events, happen. He has to manufacture a crisis. So it just lets you know that this coronavirus situation, man, whatever COVID-19 or NCV or whatever, V, yeah, so it all looks manufactured. It's got all the symptoms, all the signs, all right, all the all the fingerprints of being manufactured, man. Because at the end of the day, man, now you see, they enjoying the the reaction they're getting from this situation, man. And then they gotta add in the so-called financial aspect. So you understand now that that's exactly what Esau was trying to do all along, to find a way of tapping into some revenue for the big boys, so they could get some cash, get some liquidity. All right, so you just gotta pray, Lord, but Shema you don't get caught up in all these distractions, man. All right, all these distractions, don't want to get caught up in it, because it's still gonna get worse. Okay, so this is gonna be from the book of Proverbs, chapter 22, verse 16. All right, so it says, "He that oppresseth the poor to increase his riches, and he that giveth to the rich shall surely come to want." And that's what America has become, Esau's society anyway. It's always about robbing the poor people, of their resources, and then it turns around and then it hands it over to the rich. The whole agenda of the whole premise of Agenda 21, that's all it is, man. Push people into a corner from being able to use the land for what's necessary, and then they hand it over to the so-called private corporations that make money off it. Yeah, so they tie the people's hands behind their backs with their so-called laws and regulations and their law enforcement agencies, and not under threats and intimidations and all that stuff. And then they turn around and make fast money. And that's what America is about, fast money. All right, fast money, fast this, fast that. All right, so this Proverbs chapter 22, verse 16, it says, "He that oppresseth the poor to increase his riches, and he that giveth to the rich shall come to want." And that's what America has become, a nation of debtors. All right, and that's what you have to understand. A nation that doesn't have control over its money supply. Allowing a so-called private corporation, the Federal Reserve, to dictate monetary policy. So you're gonna have a messed up economy. All right, the so-called politicians are already been bought and paid off. All right, so-called sheriffs and your police chiefs, your attorney generals, governors, all right, district attorneys, whatever, and the judges, they're all on the take, all right, because this big scam is basically coming to an end. America's gonna go deeper into debt. All right, so $2 trillion is just a drop in a bucket. All right, the whole thing needs to be burnt down. And just let it go down the crapper, man. Because Lord Shima Shai is not really interested in seeing this place go on. Mosai has to put the plug on America. So I play the video and then you hear what these people got to say. It's all gonna sound scripted anyway.
Wall Street ended another tumultuous week with another big loss on Friday. The Dow fell more than 900 points, but the week also saw the biggest one-day point gain in history. Word that a $2 trillion economic relief package would pass Congress.
It's going to take a while for all that relief packages to get relief, funds to get into the people's hands. And then you hear about people saying they're going to go on a rent strike. All right, so how is it going to be possible? The courts are not going to be opened. The sheriffs can't do all that. They're going to be overwhelmed to carry on with evictions and all that stuff, filing out paperwork and all that. With the court system, with the judicial system, it's going to be hard. So, it's one mess, man. Big banks, big corporations, all these corporations that have their headquarters overseas that are not registered in America, they're going to get a cut of that money. Okay? So that's how messed up it is, man. It's all one crooked scam, one crooked scheme.
Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security Act, or CARES, was signed into law by President Trump on Friday. Joining us to talk about what is in the package and how it may affect you is CBS News senior business analyst Jill Schlesinger. Jill, let's start right.
Yeah, just like what happened during 9/11, you had a funding increase for DOD and all these so-called spying agencies and all these alphabet agencies. Funding went up. Then you had the legislation for Patriot Act. Then you had the, new so-called department called the Department of Homeland Security. So the same old script. You got to create an event to piss the people off and generate fear and trembling. And then they come up with the so-called solutions. All that idea of, getting an inch so they could take a mile.
How is this bill going to affect Americans? What are the big takeaways?
I think the big takeaways is that we really are seeing a lifeline come from Washington, D.C. We've got three big aspects of the plan, and we think about individuals first. You mentioned earlier in the show those checks, $1,200 checks to anyone who makes less than $75,000. That amount does phase lower as you approach $99,000. Just know that if you make less than $99,000 as a household, your adjusted gross income, you're going to get a check. There's also another $500 per child. Very helpful. Again, have to be part of that income. But for individuals, the biggest aspect to me is the expanding of the unemployment benefits. So the government is tacking on 13 weeks to whatever the maximum is in your state, and also providing a check of $600 a week on top of whatever your state unemployment benefit is. So that's for the individuals. There's relief for small businesses and corporations. I think the small business part is really important. There are loans that are available to cover your payroll, your rent, your utilities, and those loans from the SBA through the Small Business Administration would be forgiven as.
Yeah, so they're gonna focus more on the people in their discussion and talk about rent and bills, but they're not really gonna talk much about what the corporations are getting. They're not gonna go into the details of what the corporations are getting. So that lets you know, man, it's all a game of smoke and mirrors. All right. So precepts gonna be from the book of Sirach, chapter 8, verses 12 and 13. It says, lend not unto him that is mightier than thyself. For if thou lendest him, count it but lust. All right. Book of Sirach, chapter 8, verse 12. Lend not unto him that is mightier than thyself. For if thou lendest him, count it but loss. So all this money that the government is giving to this corporation, man, it's not really going to benefit the American people, man. It's going to go into the pockets of the big cats. You hear about fat cats and all that. Yeah, that's what it's going to be about, man. It's about all, crony, crony socialism. They say capitalism is socialism, for the elites. And that's what it is about, It's about, snatching the pie, slicing it up, give people the crumbs, and the lion's share is given to to the big boys, So it's not just another gangster move that you see on a daily basis, man. All right. And then it says, forget about it, man. That money, it's just gonna be another slush fund for the big corporation to invest and expand their power over the people, and to bribe your so-called judges, your so-called officials, your so-called so-called university professors. That's what these corporations do, man. They bribe doctors, they bribe lawyers, they bribe judges, they bribe senators and congressmen and all that stuff. They pay off corrupt governments with that money. So just pray the Lord there about Shema Shah, you don't get caught in their crosshairs, man, because there's no way you can go against them, on a carnal level. You gotta be spiritual, stay out of the way. But just at the same time, you just have to make sure that you stay spiritual and stick with the Lord's word. All right. So verse 13 says, "Be not surety above thy power, for if thou be surety, take care to pay it." All right. So Americans cannot pay the debts off, man. That's the reason why they have to have endless wars. To to service their debt. Endless wars, endless wars, endless wars. All right. So that's what it's gonna be. Expect more turmoil, expect more uproars of the people. Okay, and it's just another game of debt. Debt shuffling. You know, give the corporations more money so they can have more power. All right, and that's exactly what people are gonna be seeing. You hear people talking about the government, so-called government, cares more about corporations than the people. And these rich people say, well, the corporations are people. They grant personhood to corporations, to so-called fictional entity. All right. So this is the book of Job, chapter 20, verse 15. It says, "He hath swallowed down riches, and he shall vomit them up again. Yahweh shall cast them out of his belly." Okay, so all those riches, these elites have, heaped up unto themselves. The Lord Abba Shema is going to grab it out of the hands. Whatever they stocked up and hidden in the underground bunkers, in their chests, in their so-called vaults, it's all for the elect of the nation of Israel. All right. So it's going to be beautiful when you see what the Lord Abba Shema Shai is going to take away from these people. Because collection time is coming. Just like Esau went around the world robbing nations of their wealth, the Lord Abba Shema Shai is about to rob these elites on the face of the earth of their wealth and put them in shackles. Okay. And final precept is going to be from the book of Proverbs, chapter 23. All right, 23 verse 5, and it reads, Wilt thou set thine eyes upon that which is not? Okay, for riches certainly make themselves wings. All right, wilt thou set thine eyes upon that which is not? All right, so all this so-called historical relief is really nothing. It's less than a drop in a big barrel. All right, so just make sure that you don't get engulfed in this idea of so-called stimulus. Because end of the day, it's not really for the elect anyway. So you just have to understand you don't want to waste your time thinking about unemployment benefits and paychecks and all that stuff, because the word of the Lord is more precious than all these things combined. Okay? Then it says, for riches certainly make themselves wings. They fly away as an eagle toward heaven. All right? So that's what the riches of Esau's kingdom is likened into. It just flies away in the middle of the night. Today, you have $10,000. Tomorrow, the economy goes down the crapper. The bank shut down. You can't get the money. The bank already had the bailing. All right, so that's exactly what's going to happen in the future, man. Folks will not be able to receive their funds from the banks. Yep, so it's going to create a lot of tensions, man. So that's why Lord Yabashimashai says, set not your heart upon them. Don't let your cares be on the items of this world, because it's going to create unnecessary stress. All right, folks are going to lose sleep. So, put your trust in Lord Yabashimashai and don't lean onto your understanding. Just pray Lord Yabashimashai get you out of this mess, so you don't become a victim of the stimulus relief. Shalom.